This is what happens when you buy headphones from Lidl. Oh no, that was Crocs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't buy everything from Lidl.
Fucking disgusting.
Just
letting them-
95% of my household.
Fucking disgusting letting them things in my house.
Right.
You're the owner of this house. You let me in.
Not with them on your feet. I didn't fucking see them.
I mean, I didn't see them, and I've just driven like 40 miles with him. So
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am just generally in life, but not about his shoes.
But the pod's not long enough to go through that.
Don't open that door.
Can't be said on the pod.
Oh, we should have the Open Championship trophy on the pod.
Yeah,
We can come to that later.
It will be when I return
That'd be
it.
good though, wouldn't it? Because I think we do need a backdrop, like a proper
that.
setup. Because if you think if we're on camera, it needs to be a proper decent setup.
Yeah.
Fuck me, mate.
Some better lighting because it's a bit dark and
I've been
dull
in
in here.
fucking 10 days. What do
Come
you
on,
want
dress
from
it up
me?
a little bit.
By doing what?
How are you finding the bachelor pad? Is it working out for you?
Yeah, it's nice, mate. Anyway, enough of this shit.
Yeah.
Let's crack on. Pilot.
Right, so this is the official pilot of the pod, Golf, Goals and Grapplers. So would anyone like to sort of kick off and tell us the premise of the pod and why we think it's a good idea?
Well, it's not a good idea, is it? It's just three middle-aged blokes talking shit about football, wrestling and golf.
Definitely not a good
I think
idea.
for me, the name, and I'm going to give you credit on this, Chris, the name was actually created by yourself. So I think you should explain where it came from.
Don't give him credit. His head's big
I'll
enough.
give him credit. I'll give him credit on that one.
Maybe don't
Everyone
give me
gets
credit
one.
yet until I've explained where it came from. So basically, I was thinking I wanted a bit of alliteration in the podcast. So I wanted something that was quite memorable,
You boring cunt.
catchy. For those of you that don't know what alliteration is, I'm not explaining it now. But I wanted something that was quite catchy and memorable and obviously relevant to what we're going to talk about primarily, because we are primarily going to talk about three things, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's going to branch off to, we're going to start talking about golf and then we're going to end up talking about a donkey on a unicycle or whatever. It is going to be a bit of all over the place. But the premise of the show really is, we like loads of sports. So, you know, we've got golf, we've got football, and we've got wrestling. Those are the three prime sports where we can all pretty much all hold our own in all sports. But equally, you like other sports that we can potentially talk about?
I've become a massive fan of Formula One, not going to lie.
Yeah,
so I think...
we had a chat. Was it at Nottingham when we went to Nottingham?
Yeah.
With-
I know, Chris, you're not massively into Formula One, but you know bits.
Yeah, Damon Hill, yeah.
Who?
Stelly Moss.
Senna, is he still alive?
He's still going.
And I briefly got into NBA as well, but that was more of a lockdown thing because there was no other sport on. So I went through this little weird period where NBA was on. I've got a couple of mates who were massive into it, and I had a Miami Heat jersey already, just as you do.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not? I'll just start watching Miami Heat. Massive supporter. And it was during lockdown, they actually got to the playoff finals. So it was actually quite memorable for me.
Is that good getting to the playoff finals in America, is it?
I'm assuming so, yeah.
Cool.
I can't actually remember if they won it or not. So, like I say, I'm not massive on it, but it was just something to watch. It was a bit of sport to watch through a period where there wasn't a lot on. And it was something different.
So, didn't you say to me, because me and Christian used to commute to work together for many years. Didn't you say to me that at that point you was staying up for like US times for the playoffs and stuff at like 3 a.m. and stuff?
There was a couple of times where I did get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch them play because they were on Sky Sports. So I'd find I even got in the depths of finding streams for them and stuff like that, trying to watch it. So, yeah, I think, you know, that's something I can talk a little bit about. But I think it was more of the fact that there was no other sport on, and I needed some sport in my life at that point.
I've done that many a time though, staying up till 1 in the morning to watch a wrestling pay-per-view.
I was just going to ask, does that then translate across to you watching wrestling pay-per-views?
Yeah, so like, staying up till countless times I stayed up, don't pull an all-nighter and watch WrestleMania. It started at 12 and
you know what? We've made a full house then, because obviously for about a period of about 10 years, I was massively into NFL, American football. Green Bay Packers fan. Took me about 2 years to learn the rules. Once you've learned all the rules, it is actually really enjoyable. But obviously, same thing. When the playoffs were on, you was up till 3, 4 in the morning because a 60-minute game used to take 4 hours, which I know turns a lot of people off in the UK, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes too long, but yeah, I was massively into that. So I did exactly the same. Like you're going to work red eye at like 6:30 in the morning. It's horrible, but at the time, like you invested, aren't you?
But that's why golf tournaments on the West Coast, they put people off because they finish at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Someone will start the round at 11 o'clock or half 11 at night, and they won't finish till 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I really struggle to watch golf as well. Like, I absolutely, golf is the newest sport I've got into, and I started with you, Chris, back in lockdown again, another lockdown on sport, and I've not looked back
Did you
since.
bored during lockdown? Did you have to spend time with the missus? By the way, our favourite term, we're a bit close to the mic. Our favourite term for this throughout the podcast is going to be that can't go in.
That can't
That's
go
not
in.
going in.
Nope.
We'll have to do a whole episode where the title is "That's Not Going In."
Outtakes.
Yeah, save them all. Going for hour.
The explicit version.
Well, no, we're going to need a vault, right? Where, and I'm talking like a digital vault, where all of the like absolutely horrendous things that get said on this podcast are going to have to be stored away in the vault. Otherwise, for the 6 listeners that we're going to have, we'll get cancelled.
Yeah,
You can't get cancelled.
You can easily get cancelled in today's world.
yeah.
By saying what?
I don't
Well,
know.
you dropped the C-bomb after about 2 minutes, mate. We can't be doing that. No, I was just saying, right, for me, for golf, I've really struggled to get into watching it,
Yeah.
but I absolutely love playing it. So I think for me, golf is one of those things that I love. I love playing. I know the rules. I know, well, I roughly know how to play. You guys will probably disagree.
Debatable.
Yeah, exactly.
I disagree.
But I don't really keep in touch with what's happening in sort of like the professional world, and
Yeah.
I struggle to watch it.
So this is where it's. This is why this podcast is really good. Firstly, we're just chatting absolute shit, but also we're talking about our own golf game, or we're talking about watching golf, or we're talking about whatever it might be, football or whatever. And everyone's got different knowledge levels and looks at things in different ways.
Yeah.
So when it comes to golf, obviously me and would watch golf, certainly like majors or big competitions. You maybe wouldn't, but we all play it. Me and you, Christian, have got different levels of knowledge about football compared
Absolutely.
to what Baker's got, because he didn't watch
And we were saying
farmers leagues, as he calls them.
Yeah, we were saying this earlier because there's such a difference in ages between us as well.
Yeah, he's 50, isn't he?
At least. Obviously, I'm the youngest, clearly.
Really?
Not
So-
clearly on camera.
So we've all got absolutely different, different views, and we grew up in different generations of people within that sport, whether it's
I
wrestling,
mean-
whether it's football, whether it's...
Listen, we just need to clarify this, right, for our 6 listeners, which is when you talk about different generations, people will be thinking that we're like fucking 30 years apart. The gap between us all is about 6 years, 7 years. So like I'm
That's
the
long enough.
oldest. Right, but that don't mean to say that I was watching Pele and Maradona and you guys were watching Messi and Ronaldo. So let's just clarify
But
this.
was you watching Pele and Maradona?
I was actually the great footballer.
Stanley Matthews was your favourite player, wasn't he?
Yeah, did you, mate? Yeah.
So the premise of this podcast.
Anyway, yeah, so let's just set the tone for this podcast then. So, like we've just said, primarily 3 sports, but we like a lot of sports. We'll talk about anything. So, if you're interested in listening to people genuinely talk a lot of shit, then this is the podcast for you. But what I'll equally say as well is why we complement each other quite well is Bullis touched on this a little bit, which is so Christian and Bullis certainly watch a lot more football than me. They certainly can go more in depth. They keep their eye on transfer news. They watch fucking Championship football. They watch Bundesliga. Their knowledge is pretty good. I'm a football snob, so I'll watch the top 6 in the Prem or I'll watch Champions League. Outside of that, I don't really care. But I can get involved in a conversation. I'm not a moron. Golf,
Debatable again.
yeah, that's another matter. Golf, very similar. I will watch 8 hours of golf, no problem. It don't bore me. And obviously, we can talk a lot about, because we all play golf together. Not very well, but we play it.
Playing such a strong word.
We
Yeah.
enjoy a walk.
We do. It spoils the walk some days. Fucking golf spoils the walk.
Especially with your two's company.
Yeah, but it's a socially distanced sport anyway, because one's in them trees, and I'm down the fairway. So,
I thought you'd be down the fairway. You'd always be short on the fairway. Anyway,
do you want to touch on wrestling, which is the 3rd big element of this podcast?
go for it. Yeah.
So, in terms of wrestling, we've all got different areas of wrestling, eras of wrestling. So, tell us a little bit about yours.
So yours was Giant Haystacks.
I was born the same day as Giant Haystacks.
The same year as well.
See, this is where I don't even know who you're on about right now.
Oh, it's like a wrestler born in the 20s.
Right, yeah.
1920s, that is, not 2020s.
So my depth of wrestling knowledge doesn't go very far at all.
You don't need to know who Giant Haystacks is, mate. It's all good.
Right, okay, good.
Who-
As long as I don't need to know.
No. Who do you know?
So I was thinking about this earlier, and for me, sort of my main era was sort of D-Generation X.
Yeah,
So, but that's Billy Gunn,
Attitude Era.
X-Pac, you know, Triple H when he was part of that, and things like that. And you've got the Dudley Boys, and you've got Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. That's where I kind of remember it being.
So we're
sort of
looking
my
at
baseline.
2000 to 2005, 2006. How long did you stay in touch with it?
I honestly couldn't tell you. But I mean, for me, that was always. I mean, this is debatable, but for me, that was the best era.
I mean,
I
that's
kind
a
of-
whole podcast. That
But
is.
yeah, but it is, and that's what's going to cause
that's a
debate,
long
isn't it? Because
podcast.
everyone watching their own, I suppose, watching their own era is always going to think it's the best era.
The
But
best area because that's the area you grew up in. Do you think? Or
I think
that's-
so, I don't. It must be.
Could be. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
because I suppose, like I say, I didn't watch a lot of the older wrestling, so I won't remember half the people you probably going to speak about. So for me, I can't really compare it.
Yeah, but that's what's interesting though, because your era is very firmly a big part of what we liked. Like I watched it 93 to 96 and then dipped out to 90. Didn't watch it for 3 years and then came back to it in 2000 when you picked it up.
Yeah.
And you,
I've watched it since 1990, pretty much.
I suppose where I'm basing that decision on as well is who you still hear about. So for me, that era again, there was Kane, Undertaker, Mankind, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all these people in their prime, and people still talk about them now. So for me, that's what kind of
That's what makes it the best era.
That's where I'm basing that decision on, that it's the best era.
That's fair.
The most memorable wrestlers, I guess.
That's probably a fair comment because you look at the people that get spoken about on a regular basis. Those guys are the guys constantly, but then you look at an era before that, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, all those kind of people, and again, completely different story. There's an argument for someone that was from that era to say, well, no, that's the best era because look who was there, and the comparison between the two is a totally different conversation that you're going to have. So
Yeah,
it's
true.
It's just interesting how you look at it, isn't it?
it's a whole pod episode on its own, that, and I think people should drop in the comments what their favourite eras are, or if they want to hear us thrash that out, because that could be a pod that goes on for hours. That
Or who the favourite wrestler is and why.
absolutely, yeah.
So if you're one of our 6 listeners anywhere in the country, drop in a comment and let us know who your favourite wrestler is.
Yeah, we'll do top 5 wrestlers of all time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think I've just named him.
Don't
I've already done that in the intro.
Don't spoil the podcast.
Who invited this guy?
So what we're going to do is, we're going to shoot first few podcasts, very much because of the time of year. It's very much going to be around the start of the season, the start of the Prem. Looking forward to that, which starts this weekend if you're watching this in real time.
Can I just say, I fucking hate it when people call it the Prem.
Do you?
I
Do you know
can't
what I
stand
hate
it.
more than the Prem?
What?
When people fucking call it the PL.
Oh, yeah, I hate that as well.
Yeah, I
hate
don't mind
that.
the Prem. Prem's absolutely fine for me because that's probably what I would call it. But I couldn't ever stomach myself
but-
to say the PL.
If you call it the Prem, why not just call it Premier League?
Because it's
that's a lot
shorter.
more- yeah.
That's
Yeah, but-
the whole point
Yeah.
of an abbreviation.
But it's not an official abbreviation, is it? It's just a lazy abbreviation because you're too lazy to say Premier League.
Yeah, but I reiterate, that's what an abbreviation is.
Yeah, but you wouldn't call Liverpool Elpool.
I do actually.
You fucking would.
Call them the Reds.
That was stupid.
No, this is a bit off tangent, but on those sort of abbreviations, this is how lazy I can be sometimes. Like with people's names,
You're not lazy, are you?
I am absolutely not. No, with people's names, I will just drop one letter. So, for example, like Tracy, I called anyone called Tracy, I call them Trace all the time. All I'm dropping is one letter, but it seems so straightforward for me to
So
do.
then if I called you Christia, you'd be happy with that?
No, it wouldn't, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't fit, does it?
don't
I know
fit,
what you mean, though.
but it's got to fit. But I will absolutely drop a letter for anyone's name without even asking them as well, if they like it.
Let's do this then. So, quite interesting. This is the intro pod, right? I want the listeners to get to know us a little bit so they can, they can decide who they fucking can't stand and who they like, right?
Oh, God.
Who the cat's name?
So what I want you to do is just it's not a fucking job interview, but just tell people a little bit about your golf game, a little bit about what you're fucking into, and a little bit about who's like the Muppet in the group and who's this person. I think that'd be quite
So
interesting.
we're talking about golf games. Shall we let you go first, Christian?
Yeah, good shout.
My golf game is really interesting, I think, because, and you guys will probably not agree with me, but say it very similar about your own game, but I've got every shot in the locker. every shot in the locker I've got in some capacity, but I just can't put it together.
Fucking hell, he's got every shot in the locker ball.
No, but I have. I mean, and I mean, when I say every shot, I don't mean like flops and backward flops and all this stuff. I mean like your traditional shots.
All right.
So I can hit it off the tee. I can hit an iron in the middle of the fairway. I can hit it out the trees as well. I can putt. I can chip, but I just wouldn't do it all in one
So when
hole or round.
So when me and you were chatting shit the other week, and we were setting this up, and I hit you with a bit of a shit sandwich. Did I not?
No, because you started with a negative
But,
first.
No, but I'm gonna hit you with a shit sandwich.
There's a lot of shit in this. Also, can we just say, for the purpose of the viewers, so they've got context, what's your handicap index at the minute?
28.
28. So he's got every shot in the locker. And
But
he's
this
a
is what I mean.
28
But I
handicap.
can't put it together.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Where's your 28 from?
My app, mate.
Oh,
And this is what I played off recently.
is that when you went around yourself and did 92?
It
No,
doesn't
wh-
help when I've done a 92
that's
and a
true.
98.
No, but
yeah.
when you
No.
you went on a stagger weekend, didn't you? And you played off 28.
Played off 28 and got 105 on a new course,
Nice, good.
which was a tough course as well, really tough course. So I was quite happy with that. I
Anyway,
think.
so let me hit you with a shit sandwich.
Go on
right?
then, yeah. I've been waiting for this.
So
Try to avoid it, but here we go.
you're no. I'll be fair. I won't be harsh. I won't be a prick.
I mean,
Why change now?
We've got 6 listeners to impress. Well, come on. So
That's why I picked my own golf game up. Come on.
So your golf game has improved.
So there's the first slice of bread.
No, let me.
Yeah,
let
that's
me
the first
finish.
slice of bread.
No, I'm going to explain. Your golf game has improved. You've got better, but so this
So
is
everything before the butt doesn't count.
Yeah, no,
we
it
all
don't.
know that rule,
No,
don't
it
we?
does. It counts.
Standard.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it counts.
Go on then.
So when you have a car crash, it's dreadful,
I agree with that. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that one. Definitely.
and it's very similar to you. Trying to get you back on
yeah,
it.
we're really similar.
No,
Me and
no,
Christian
no,
golf.
no. Look, I spoke to you about this before. Your mentality, and yours is when you're at a 10, you'll compound that with another 8, or you'll compound that with another 7. So you'll have 3 or 4 disastrous holes in a row,
Yeah.
and you can't shift it, and then your card's gone.
And I think to back that up as well, I'm just going to open my golf app here because I can't really remember what I got at the weekend.
What
But-
golf app do you use? Just so we can get sponsored.
So plug in golf pad.
Golf pad, yeah.
Golf
nice.
pad.
Same.
Yeah, so-
I think we all use the same, don't we? Because we play with
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
It makes sense to use the
We
same
don't
one.
play with each other. We play golf. Just to clarify.
Yeah, just thanks for that. Thanks for that.
just for the 6 listeners.
So when I look at my scorecard, so the thing with me as well, I don't play often enough, so it takes me a little while to warm up. So
How often do you play?
at best fortnightly.
You also
Probably.
don't warm up. You rock up 5 minutes before the
I
tee
rock
time
up 5 minutes before
with a coffee.
with a coffee and a Mars bar.
Sometimes hungover.
Sometimes hungover.
Do you hit any putts?
And doing occasionally.
Do you
Depends.
hit
Depends
the
how
range?
No.
No.
No, I don't. This is it.
Yeah.
And another, again, a tangent on this as well. Might talk a little bit about running because I do a little bit of running now as well. But my running approach is pretty much the same as my golf. Just rock up and do it. So my first 2 holes at the week on Friday, I got 7-7, back-to-back 7s. But then I had a real sweet spot where I had 3-5. I had par, bogey, bogey. And then I went into a 7 and a 9 to finish it. So that's just a little bit of a snapshot of how consistent I can be.
So you kind of backed up what I said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, look, I won't be thinking because look, everyone's got their own things in the golf game.
Yeah.
But my second positive spin on that
Your
was
second slice of bread.
the main parts. The second slice of bread is you've got so much better in striking the ball because you're not trying to smash it all the time. You're actually trying to hit golf shots.
Yeah.
And when you've tried to hit golf shots, it's your game's got better and your game's improved, and that's when your scoring starts to come down. So if you can get rid of those, instead of having 3 or 4 shitholes, you have 2, then you break 100.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I thought that was pretty fair.
I mean, I can't disagree much with that. I'm definitely the biggest hitter in the group as well. Let's just get that out there.
What, in life, or we still talk about golf?
Still talking about golf here.
Oh, yeah. I think the thing is, a little bit what you said, but just to clarify, when Christian has a bad hole, that bad hole is a 9 or a 10, or
Yeah.
picking up.
Yeah.
And the difference is that if other people have a bad hole, it would maybe be a double bogey or a triple bogey.
Yeah.
But you capitulate on that one hole. What I don't agree with you though is that he doesn't necessarily follow that up with another 9 or another 8. Certainly in the last 6 months.
No, exactly. But I'm not saying followed it up with another 9. It's followed up with a 7 or an 8. And there's been plenty of times where that's happened. Maybe not in the last 6 months, but that's why his scores come down because he's knocked that on the head and that's stopped.
So talking to scores, what's your best round?
You're gonna make me say this, aren't you? You're gonna make me say
What's
this.
the best round you've ever scored? The lowest you've ever shot?
My lowest I've ever shot is a 92.
Brilliant. Who was there to see this round?
The groundsman.
You fucking
Was this a
arsehole.
one ball by any chance?
This was a
You
one ball.
arsehole.
Interesting how the first time you broke
No,
100
that was
twice.
the second time, but the first time was one ball as well.
So just for people listening, he's broke 100 twice. And to be fair to the kid, he's only been playing since lockdown. He's broke 100 twice,
On
and
his own.
no one was there to see him either time.
But you trust me, don't you?
No,
Totally, yeah.
I don't. I should do, but
Shambles. I thought we were friends.
We all know one ball scores do not count.
I don't. So when you hit a 1 ball 76, does that count?
No, because I've never hit a one ball 76. We'll come on to my golf game in a minute.
All right.
Is there anything else you want to add before we start slating his golf game?
Not particularly. I just rock up, hit it hard, have a mare, and then go home.
And have a laugh.
So yeah.
Do you know what
That's
I think
pretty
would be
much
the
it.
next big leap for him?
What's that?
Is dispersion. So your 8 iron either goes 80 yards or 150 yards, and there's nothing in between. So you're either flying the green or you're not making the green. I think if you can get each club down to a point where you know that club is within sort of 10, 15 yards, if you nail it, it goes 15 yards fair. If you don't strike it that well, it goes 15 yards shorter.
But-
that's the next level for you. That's
Yeah.
when you will be definitely consistently under 100.
Without getting too technical, your 8 iron is essentially a 5 iron.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before, because I come on it quite steep.
Yeah, really steep.
I get further
loft
with
it.
them because of it, but it's not necessarily a good thing. But
You're a big guy. He's got long levers. It, when he middles it, it goes fucking
Oh, it
miles.
flies. It
yeah.
flies.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely in summer as well.
Just need to fucking control that fucking power, don't you? Because it can be wild at times. But you've massively improved. I mean, when we first started playing golf during lockdown, I mean, you was dusting off fucking wooden clubs out your dad's garage, weren't you?
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
started with like 130, shooting 130s, and now you're consistently sort of what you averaging about 105.
I would say 105 to 110.
Yeah.
That's kind of my sweet spot at the minute.
I'd agree with that.
So
So
I'm happy
definite
with that.
progress, yeah. But like you say, you don't hit the range, you don't practice, you don't get there other than the minute before your tee starts. If you want to be consistently getting into the breaking 100, I think you'd need to put some time in, because I know we don't anymore, but at some point we put that time in to get our game consistently under there, and you just don't have time.
No.
I think golf's one of those sports you do need to play 3 or 4 times a week to get
Life takes over, doesn't it?
to get any good at it, really, don't you?
Life
To
just
get-
takes over.
yeah. Go on then, Bullis. We'll go to you next. Seems you're next in line.
So my golf game,
Go on. You explain it to us.
it's got better over the last 18 months. Still areas for improvement around the green. It can be really good, or it can be shit. And if it's shit, game over. Putting's got better. Taking a driver out the bag has made my game better, because
I wondered if you'd mentioned that.
yeah. So just going off with a 3-wood, it's far more consistent than having a driver in the bag. But yeah, that's pretty steady with room for improvement. I'm sure he's going to say different.
And what's your lowest score?
80. Did it in 87? Were you?
Yeah, was that Normanby?
Yeah, I think so. 86, 87, something like that.
And what's your handicap at the minute?
20.
Bandit.
Massive bandit.
Hey, I'm just going to qualify.
It's not, to be fair, because if you think about it, if he's got a handicap of 20 and par's normally what, 72?
72.
That means he'd be
92.
averaging 92. It's about right.
Just
I
about
think
right,
it's a fair handicap for you. So I don't think the new index system has shafted you. For you, though, obviously, if you're saying you average 105, you're averaging sort of 34 over par, and you're playing off 28. So them 2 rounds that you put in that were low,
Take them off.
I might do, yeah. I didn't really get them.
that you made up.
Yeah, those 2 rounds have killed me.
So what about my golf game then?
I mean,
How much time we got?
I think we've got probably a different perception, because you've known him a lot longer. and played with him a lot longer. Where I've only played with
Played
you,
golf.
but played golf. When I say play with you, I mean play golf. I've only played golf.
That
with
was
you,
a
Willis.
long winter. That was.
I've got to keep warm somehow, haven't you?
McDonald's was interesting.
Yeah.
I think. How long have we been playing golf for? Maybe a year and a half, 2 years, max.
I don't know.
Has it even been that long?
I think,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's probably
I'd
about
say
2 years.
Over
Yeah.
2 years, I reckon.
You got involved shortly after lockdown. I think we became a 3-ball.
Yeah. And I think when we first started playing, you was quite a way off. You was more. I mean, I thought, oh, great, someone here that I can probably beat. And then you seem to just shot on a little bit more, and you're much closer to him than you are to me now in terms of scoring. And you become more consistent with your striking. I think taking your driver out the bag's worked massively because your 3-wood is pretty consistent, pretty straight. And to be honest with you, it gets further than Chris's driver,
Yeah, it's true.
which we'll get onto that in a
That's
minute.
true.
But so that's a good thing to have in your bag. You still have those moments where you can hit a 9, hit a 10, hit 11, pick up. You have them, but just not as much as probably I do in a round. And obviously, we know for you, bunkers are a kryptonite. You could be 6 or 7 getting out of a bunker, which kills it. So avoiding them is key to your game.
One of my favourite moments of all time in my life. That
Did you get 13?
we got to 18th at Normanby, and I think we'd both had like 88 shots, right?
I was fuming.
And I was fucking getting a bit touchy, thinking, fucking hell, I need to beat him on the 18th hole. Teed off, fan, approaching to the par 4 green into one of the bunkers on the right.
It was a deep bunker.
Yeah, I was just on the fringe for 2, so we were
They're all
pretty
deep
neck
for
and
you.
neck. So we were neck and neck. I was on the fringe, he was in the bunker. He
What
took
was it,
10. He took 10 to get out the bunker.
Was it 10? I thought it was 7.
Oh, you've had a few 7s, mate. That's the regular. But this,
The 10's
he
the one that
he
sticks in
took
your head.
10
Oh,
shots to
yeah.
get out of Normanby bunker.
Killer.
I mean, fair play to the kid. He finished the hole because I wouldn't. I'd have fucking snapped my club off my knee.
I was close a few times.
Yeah, but you went from having an absolute fucking solid 17 holes to an absolute car crash in a bunker. One bunker. That's all it took.
It's mad doing it. Like you say, one hole ruins your whole game. And I don't know about you guys as well, but on the 18th, I'm always like, I need to smoke this tee shot because this is where I'm finishing on. If I hit a poor tee shot on the 18th,
Do you know the thing as well,
Ruins it for
though?
me as well.
If you check your score after 17 and you see that you're playing well, you've done this to me before. And to be fair,
I start telling you.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, Dave did it to me as well.
killed it. No?
Dave killed me.
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, you're playing well today. Yeah, cheers, Dave. And he's done it to me before wherever we're playing. Yeah, you're playing really well today. And that's it. It goes.
I start saying stuff at like 15, 16 where it's quite close, where I go, you're
Get-
definitely going to win today, mate.
You're
You're breaking 100 today,
Yeah,
mate.
you're going to
Gets in my head.
smash this
He
today.
does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Gets in your head.
Yeah, he's a knob like
What
that,
a
isn't
prick. Anyway, what are your thoughts on my golf game?
Obviously, we started playing golf again probably because it's weird because obviously we worked together and
Yeah.
then we sort of went 10 years where we barely spoke, and then I think did we just fucking obviously I'd posted some golf pictures on Facebook and you'd post some golf, and I think we just dropped each other a message and
just
was like, do you
messaged
fancy a round?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was probably 2017, 2018, so we've been back playing golf for about 6 years now.
Yeah, it's fair.
Worst decision I've ever made, but anyway, it's another pod. But definitely, particularly in the last 2 years, the difference is now is the reason you've gone from being a 105 golfer down to like a low 90s golfer, mid 90s golfer. I know you've got the odd bad one in you, but you've got much more consistent, and that's all it is. Because you had that 92 round in you 6 years ago. It just happened 1 in every 20 rounds, whereas now you're consistently under 100. Like Christian said, you're very good off the tee. You found a club off the tee that suits you, and you're very comfortable with it. You've got clubs that gets you down the fairway. You know, you've got is it a 2 and a 4 hybrid or a 3 and a 4 hybrid?
3 and 4.
And you get down the fairway pretty well as well. Your putting's improved, but your weakness is in and around the green, chip in, you know, little sculls over the green. That's your weakness. If you cleaned up your short game, you'd be consistently in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Can't disagree with that.
One thing I forgot to say as well, I think, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I think when his head goes,
Well,
he's the worst out of us three when your head goes. He walks around
I don't know about the worst.
miserable. Who do you think's the worst?
He is.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
That's a big shout, that.
No, it is.
I mean, he's the only one who stops carding when he's had a mare,
yeah,
which hides the fact he's had a mare.
And the thing is, though, you know when to stay away from him because he just goes deadly silent, and then you know when to talk to him because he starts talking.
Yeah, but the reason there's a reason I do this, right? Because if I feel like my round's going to shit or I've had a bad hole, well, come on to me in a bit. But like, by just shutting up, and stopping the banter and just fucking getting on with the next 2 or 3 holes. I go within myself and I try and get back on track by doing it like that. So I'm not just being fucking rude and a
You
bit
are.
of. Oh right, yeah. I am a bit, to be fair.
No, you are right though.
What's his famous saying? Wasting his own time.
No, wasting my own time.
Wasting my own time. Wasting our
Well,
time.
you are right. I mean, if you're going to a golf course, right, and you're shooting fucking late 90s, you wasted 4 hours, haven't you?
How many
I've
sayings?
wasted 3 years.
How many sayings did he have at one point? Yeah, wasting my own time. Premium ball spin.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a fact, though. Rick
well-
Shields, if you're watching, mate, back
Which
me
is-
up on this. The
which is
premium ball spin. If you're buying TP5s, Pro V1s, like you lose a little bit of distance off the tee, but I'm not long anyway. But the spin on the greens with premium balls is fucking unreal.
yeah, we know you're not long.
Do you get premium spin in the bushes?
Yeah, straight out the rough. Yeah.
You are.
I could do with that.
You are right though. Once my head goes, my head firmly goes.
Yeah, 100% does.
It's a sight to see in it. I
And
mean,
like, and you maybe like with Chris, he's saying there that he has those two or three holes where he starts to like just mentally try and get back on it. I think you struggle to get once you've lost it. I think you struggle to bring it back as well sometimes.
oh yeah, definitely, mate. Because I mean, it'll tell you many stories when my temperament has got so much better over the last few years. But there's been many stories over many years where my head's gone and it's firmly gone.
Fell off. Angry man.
Have you boys ever snapped a club or lobbed a club or anything like that?
Well, let me tell you about this one.
Right, so we'll start with this, then we'll go into your golf game. Then.
Okay, so talking about him losing his head,
Oh,
perfect
I
timing.
knew
So
you were going to say that.
we went down.
like it was
we
planned.
went down to Wales to play Celtic Manor.
You don't need to
This
bring
was quite recent, wasn't it, as well?
Well, no, we've been down a couple of times, and this was the first
last year.
time.
Wasn't last year? Last March.
Yeah. We went down to this year we went down to play the 2010, the Ryder Cup course, and we played the Montgomery, but it wasn't that time. The time before we went down to play the Roman Road course. Bullis had just purchased himself a nice little shiny new driver
Nice new
straight
driver,
out the wrapper, and he had a bit of a shocker around Roman Road.
Do you not know the story?
I don't know if I do.
He had a bit of a shocker around Roman Road.
If you're going to set up, you've got to set up properly with the 15th. And what happened at the 15th?
Did you hit the flag?
No,
What happened?
I hit the Range Rover.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll let you tell that one. But losing your head. So it teed off on the 18th hole and hit like his 4th or 5th drive that didn't even get to the fairway. Like he shanked it basically. And he fucking launched this brand new driver, just fucking lobbed it. But which is fine, which is bad enough because you've lobbed a club, but we've all done it. The worst thing for him though was he thought that it was gonna stay on the grass, and it didn't. It fucking rolled
mate.
all the way down the gravel path, and it scuffed this fucking top of this brand new shiny driver, and that just topped your day off, didn't it?
That top of
What
the
hole was that on?
18.
Oh, mate. Do you take it back to the club shop and just say it was faulty?
No, I got offline.
Oh, did you?
And the worst thing was getting in the car after 18. Obviously, we sat and had something to eat. Getting in the car after 18, and I was steaming. I was absolutely livid about the whole thing, and obviously throwing that topped everything off. Getting in the car, driving home for 4.5 hours.
Oh, mate. And then having to talk to him as well.
Yeah,
That's
And-
bad
wow.
enough. Yeah.
I know.
Jeez.
Anyway, so before that, or 3 or 4 holes before that, I was having a nightmare with the driver off the tee. Don't think I had a 3-wood in the bag at that point. No, I don't think I did. So on one of the holes on the Roman Road, the road goes through the course essentially, so the in and out road. There was a Range Rover driving out, and I teed off, Shank Lampard to the left, hit the back of this Range Rover.
Did it stop?
As it was driving to no. I've not shit myself. I've not moved so quickly in my life.
To be fair, though, surely that's the car's fault.
I think there's signs that literally say at the car owner's risk.
it
You're
must be,
driving
yeah,
through a
'cause
golf course.
I think I've seen it a few times on Twitter as well. I've seen a few videos of people. I don't know if it's the same course or another course that looks similar to it, but very similar situation where people are teeing off, a car comes out of nowhere, you've hit a low stinger, and it's just,
When you say low sting, you mean a shank.
yeah.
The low stinger.
I was actually talking about deliberate low stingers.
But yeah, I don't feel as bad now if it's at the driver's own risk.
It must be.
Yeah,
driving across
I
the
don't
course.
think. I don't think they're in. I don't think.
A bit like when you hit a dog walker as well.
Interesting.
So
Though,
they're risking
people might be able to confirm this online, but Celtic Manor, there was a sign up that said if you haven't got golf insurance, you can't play. I mean, they didn't challenge it. They didn't ask us, but there was a sign that said if you don't have golf insurance, you can't play. And I'm wondering if that's out to do with the road on the course.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, your golf game.
Okay, my description or your description?
An honest assessment of your golf game.
Okay, so I mean, I played golf when I was a young kid, but I started very late. I started playing when I was about 18, and then stopped when I was about 23. And in that time, I think I broke 100 once, and then I stopped playing for about 10 years, and then started taking it proper seriously again, sort of early 30s, 33, 34. So I've been playing golf consistently now for the last 6-7 years. And the only time I really moved into consistently breaking 100 is when I started laying up to 100 yards. So I used to play a par 4 as a par 5 and a par 5 as a par 6. And because I was a decent putter, and I still am a decent putter, I very rarely 3-putt. That's how I consistently got under 100. So, I like to think my golf game's not long at all. I mean, my drive, without the wind, my drives are maxing out at about 220. 3-wood 200, 3-iron 180, that type of thing. Full pitching wedges only 100 yards, so I'm definitely not long. But I'm a decent ball striker, consistent off the tee, consistent with my long irons, and probably my biggest strength is those little chips around the green, little 9-iron bump and runs, little wedges, and then obviously I'm a pretty consistent putter. So, like, my golf app's telling me that my last 50 rounds, I've averaged 89. So I am a bogey golfer. I try and break 90 on every single course that I play, every time.
So is your handicap saying that you play off 17?
No, my handicap this is where the handicap index are fucked, because obviously where I've played difficult courses with a higher slope rating, because you would think, oh, well, if you're normally 18 over par, your handicap should be 18. But obviously now it goes on difficulty of courses. So my handicap is telling me at the minute that I'm playing off 12.6, which is bullshit, because when I then play net with you guys, I have to fucking go low just to stand a chance of winning.
Which we should do more often. We should play net more often.
I think so, yeah, because it makes it more interesting, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Especially when the trophy's on the line.
Yeah, so I have to shoot
which is over there.
Yeah.
81, 82 just to fucking get net par.
And I just have to shoot near 100 and I'm all right.
And you batter it if oh well, maybe not now you're playing off 28, mate.
I'll change it back to 34.
So what's your assessment of his golf
Well,
game?
can we just say though that my lowest round, which wasn't a one ball, is 76, and then I've broke 80 maybe 3 or 4 times after that. And when I say broke 80, I mean I've had 3 79s and 1 76. And Bullis was there for the 76, so it was a legit round.
When was that?
Oh, here we go.
Can't remember it, can you?
Fucking dementia's kicking in.
No.
I can't remember.
I think for me, what's quite frustrating is that his golf game is very consistent. He doesn't really have any shot that is particularly bad at any one point. So, and I think what you said earlier about laying up to 100, you've always got a strategy. Every time you play, you've got a strategy, which is lay up to 100, chip it on the green, and then putt.
Yeah.
That's always your strategy, no matter how long the hole is. Whereas I don't have that. I don't think I might be wrong here, but I don't think you do either, really. I'd never hear you say a similar thing where you're playing for a certain way.
He rarely lays up, but I think that's because he's pretty good with his free hybrid, so he thinks he can fucking go from it from 230 out.
Yeah, but I think I can swaz it around the tree like Tiger Woods, but I can't. But I still go for it. Or I think there's a little hole between 2 trees. I'm like, I'm going straight through that.
Do you know what the difference is? The difference between me and you, so, because there are the odd times where you've beaten me on stroke play.
It's about 8 inches.
Genuinely. It is about 8 inches, yeah. But there have been times where you've genuinely beat me a handful of times on stroke play, ain't they, without handicaps.
Yeah.
The difference with me is my bad holes are double bogeys.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, when you look at my card, I'll say to you, fuck's sake, I've had a nightmare, and it's because I've got 3 double bogeys on the card. Whereas your
Snap
nightmares,
your hand off for them.
your nightmares are triples, and your nightmares are quad bogeys, and that's the only difference. Because like you said, everyone's got every shot in the locker. It's just I do it for 15 holes, you might do it for 12 holes, and you do it for 5 holes.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So I said this to you before. Not your biggest problem, but the thing that affects you the most is the mentality side of it, and it's I know if you 3-putt on a green and you walk away, you're putting for birdie and you walk away with a bogey, I'd leave you alone for 5 minutes, because one of 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to snap out of it pretty straight away on the tee shot and on the next hole, or your tee shot's going to go wayward, and then that compounds one bad shot after another bad shot after another bad shot, and then it takes you maybe a hole or a hole and a half to snap out of it.
But I think that's the difference in ball striking is. So I'll class myself as playing shit if in the entire round I do 2 or 3 shanks. That I'll class that as I'm having a nightmare.
But is that having high expectations of yourself?
Yeah, and it's too high. And you know the worst thing that ever happened to me was hitting a 76.
Yeah.
Because ever since then, you assume that you should be going out shooting lights out 5 over par.
Yeah.
And honestly,
absolutely.
mate, I said to my mate, we've got another mate who can. He's a really good golfer. He can pick up the clubs once every 3 months and go out and shoot an 80 or a 79, right? And when I told him I'd shot 76, he was like, that's the worst thing that you'll ever do.
Yeah.
Because when he shot a 70, a 1 under par 70,
The expectations.
he
there.
thinks that he's an under par golfer, and you're not. That's not who you are.
No.
I'm a bogey golfer, and I should be happy with an 89, which is why if I think I'm going to shoot in the 90s, I'm fucking fuming.
And
Yeah.
the expectation is there all the time because you've hit that and you've hit 379s. The expectation is there for you to now think, I've played this course where I've shot a 76 or I've shot a 79. That expectation is there for you to hit that again constantly because you've done it a few times before.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because there's so many factors that play into it, right? To shoot a 76, you've had a little bit of a run of the balls. You've had a bit of luck that day. You've had a day where you've struck it inordinately well. You've also got to factor in it was probably the summer, so the ball's flying further. The greens are in better condition. You're getting run on the fairways. There's all them factors. How you feel. I might have had good energy that day. I might have not had any niggling injuries. All that would have fed into a 76.
Yeah.
Then you're never going to get that again. Like fucking, you're playing winter. Your hands are freezing. The ball's travelling 30 yards shorter. The ball's hitting the fairway and plugging. You're not hitting a 76 that day.
No, it's like all the stars align, if you like, for that 76 or that 79 to happen, and then that's rarely going to happen again.
But you know what's weird on that 76? I felt like I left shots out there.
Like,
Do you feel like it could have been even better?
You always do.
I feel like there was 2 or 3 shots where I'm like, I want them back.
I reckon when you break 100 and
For the third time.
properly, let's go properly. When you break 100 properly, you'll walk off, and as much as you'll be happy about the fact that you broke 100, you'll sit and you'll look at your scorecard and think, well, that 7 could have been a 6 because I 3-putted.
Well, just like you said there, like I know you guys don't believe me. When I walked off Decoy with that 92, my last 2, I think I got a 7 and a 9 or a 7 and 8 or something like that, and I thought I could have been in the 80s. Not only could I have just got in the 90s, I could have got in the 80s.
I'm going to say now, it's not that I don't believe it, I just don't think it happened.
It definitely did. That's the same thing, isn't it?
Every time he mentions his 92, I'm going to go beep, 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 beep. Right, quickly.
You were lying.
Let's move on as it is the intro episode, because we can do full pods on golf. Quick shout out about football. Now, the only issue I see with football is all 3 of us are Liverpool fans, but we're different Liverpool fans.
So we spoke about this. So you're a very passive Liverpool fan.
I'm a critical Liverpool fan.
Yeah,
like I'll go after them.
You're a very aggressive Liverpool fan.
I'm very optimistic as well. I'm
Yeah,
one of those
yeah.
ones like next year's our year.
Yeah.
That is me.
And I'm quite in the middle.
Yeah, you're the diplomatic one.
Yeah.
Christian's the one who thinks we're going to win the title every year.
And
And I'm
pretty
the one who
much.
thinks we're going to go down every year.
It's a roller coaster.
I know. So we've got you got 3 Liverpool fans here. However, I feel like other than United, when other teams play well, we'll be like, we got battered Arsenal battered us that Sunday for the first 45 minutes. Like, we're not biased to the point where, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think we're honest in terms of our performance, and we're critical about performance and players, and we're not thinking we're the best. I mean, we'll go into this a bit further. I still honestly think that we are the second best team in the Premier League. I honestly still think that.
Yep.
However, I am super critical if we have a poor performance, and there's players, we'll talk about transfers and stuff like that, and there's players that have left the club this year which absolutely should have left the club, and it's just about, have we brought enough back in?
You sound like Rafa Benitez then.
Did I?
Left the club.
Hey, mate, I loved Rafa Benitez, by the way. When we talk about managers, I loved Rafa.
So where are we finishing without just focusing on Liverpool, because we'll come on to like Premier League tables and stuff and our predictions in a minute.
Well, actually, people that are watching this should definitely tune it. So this is the pilot, by the way.
So cut us some slack.
Yeah, so cut us some slack. The very first episode, so episode 1, will be us predicting the Prem table and how we think the Prem's going to go this season.
So when you mean Prem, you mean Premier League table, right?
I mean
PL.
I mean the PL table.
So I know obviously we're going to go into the full Premier League table, but where are Liverpool finishing in the Premier League table?
I don't think we should talk about that yet. I think we should leave that for next because I've got some.
I've got my table, and do you know what? I'm really confident about my table.
Yeah,
I'm pretty confident about mine as well.
Like, I'm confident that I've got all 20 teams right.
Can we say
we need to do something in this. We need to count up how many we've got
we need
right.
to fucking whack a father on our. Will bookies take bets off you for predicting
will,
every
yeah.
20 teams?
Yeah,
mate, you get millions.
We've got to bang a father down if we get
Shall
it
we
right.
do it?
You get
Yeah,
millions.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can we all just agree before we start the official football podcast, which is the next one, that Luton could potentially be the worst team in Premier League history?
What, worse than Swindon?
Officially worse than Derby
Oh,
County.
Derby that got like 7 points.
Although they have just signed Ross Barkley.
Who have?
Have they?
Luton, yeah, they've just
I
signed
thought Ross Barkley was like
Missed
40 years old,
No,
like me.
they've just signed Ross Barkley today.
It looks a bit like you actually with that haircut as well.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Right, let's wrap it up. Let's sign this pilot episode off, and hopefully people will tune in for episode 1. Incidentally,
Hang on, would that
I
not
hope
be-
so. Otherwise, it'd be a really short
would that,
podcast.
not, would that not be episode 2 though? Because this is episode.
No,
No.
pilot is
Episode
pilot,
0
Yeah,
is
it's
the
like
pilot,
ground
mate.
floor, isn't it? And
Well,
first
right,
floor.
I'm not quite sure about that.
so if people see the pilot and then they search and they can't find anything else, that's because it died on its ass after one pilot.
I guarantee we'll have more than 6 listeners.
The good thing is we've
There's 3 in this room that will listen to it.
and
Is there?
then you've got you can rope your partners in to
Yeah.
watch it. Yeah, we'll get the listeners. I told you my target is 6 listeners.
Well, in that case, we're done.
Yeah,
For the kids in there, we've got 9.
successful.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you again soon.